Ehsas Women of Hyderabad welcome each one of you to an enjoyable session with a man who stepped into Indian cinema as an assistant to Raj Kapoor. Prabha Kaitan Foundation, in association with Ehsas Women of Hyderabad and venue and hospitality partner ITC Kohinoor, has organized this special rendezvous with Rahul Rawail under its prize literary initiative, The Right Circle. Rahulji will engage in a one-to-one conversation with Mansi Malik, Ehsas Women of Hyderabad. Before proceeding further, allow me to say a few words about Prabha Kaitan Foundation, a non-profit trust based in Kolkata. It was established by late Dr. Prabha Kaitan, an eminent literature, philanthropist, social worker, and industrialist. The foundation began a glorious journey as a Kolkata based non profit trust encouraging literary and cultural heritage back in the 1980s. Guided by the philosophies and policies of founder late Dr. Prabha Kaitan, the foundation has achieved stellar heights in creating a cultural capital through landmark initiatives and activities. It's been a continual journey since then, and its initiatives have become landmark events that enjoy a unique identity and a niche audience. The foundation is dedicated to all around development of social, cultural welfare, and humanitarian aspects of Indian society. The foundation endorses the basic humanitarian approach towards the needs and rights of the masses. The foundation supports the UNESCO view and staunchly believes that cultural development has the potential to be an alternative way of promoting sustainable development in poor rural communities, especially in the third world countries. India is a land of multiple assets, be it literary jewels and cultural treasures, ethnic handloom crafts, or delightful local cuisine. It is this rich heritage that Prabha Kaitan Foundation has always aimed to protect from day one till now. The foundation is the die-hard custodian of diverse heritage of India. The foundation has been raising awareness, strongly encouraging and protecting cultural assets of India under the aegis of literary art and culture verticals for the past 4 decades. Every initiative of the foundation, presented by the patron Sri Cement Limited, is by the support and cooperation of the distinguished associates, partners, collaborators, and SRs Women of India. The ventures facilitate the foundation's implementation of various cultural, educational, and social welfare projects throughout the country and abroad. To widen the cultural spectrum, the foundation leaves no stones unturned to exchange cross city mementos, treat chief guests and audience to the taste of authentic local cuisine, and appreciate the handloom and sculptural work of the local artisans when it's time to show appreciation to the esteemed personalities. The anthem of Prabha Kaitan Foundation deserves a special mention here. It portrays the beautiful philosophy of the nation, unity in diversity. Rahul Rawail, famously known for his blockbuster movies Love Story, Betab, Arjun, Anjam, and Arjun Pandit, is the son of renowned film director H.S. Rawail. His movies have been the launch vehicles for many Bollywood actors such as Kumar Gaurav and Vijayta Pandit in Love Story, Sunny Deol, and Amrita Singh in Betab, Kajol in Bekudi, and Aishwarya Rai in Aur Pyar Ho Gaya. It was a divine blessing for Rawail to have worked with Raj Kapoor as an assistant director under the banner RK Films. Under him, the immortal master of the Indian cinema, he learned the nitty gritty of filmmaking and went on to cement his foothold as a movie maker of excellence. His association with Raj Saab and fond story memories are captured in the book Raj Kapoor, the Master at Work. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Rahulji and conversationalist Mansi Malik to Right Circle session in Hyderabad. Conversationalist Mansi Malik is an Hisas woman from Hyderabad. Besides being a successful professional, she cherishes a great love for literary and cultural heritage of India. Before we start today's conversation, please keep your mobiles on silent mode. And it's now to start the session. So let's sit back and enjoy the session with Rahulji. Thank you so much.
I consider myself privileged to be sitting next to a legend who has made classics like Love Story, Betab, Arjun Pandit, Dakat, and many more. Some of you might not know that he was the person who launched Bollywood actors Kajol and Aishwarya Rai, which I think Maurya just mentioned. Most importantly, he's the one who has worked closely with the immortal master of Indian cinema, the Raj Kapoor, who has been an institute in himself. Sir, you have assisted him in Mera Naam Joker, Kal Aaj Aur Kal, Bobby, to name a few. Your own father, H.S. Rawail was a renowned filmmaker. Did that affect your choice of career? Or when did you get interested actually in films? Did you ever work with your father or
No, I never worked with Dad because when I was in school, till I grew up, I was around films, of course, being made, going to the sets, watching Dad. But I never wanted to become a filmmaker.
Oh, so
When
when was this decision made?
I'll tell you that. I had finished my school,
Okay.
which was, at that time, it was the last batch of senior Cambridge before it turned into ICSC.
Okay.
It was the last batch. And Chintu
Rishi Kapoor.
Kapoor was a childhood friend of mine. We grew up with each other over a span of 60 years,
Okay.
from the time when we were in the nursery school together.
Wow.
And I had finished my school in December because our exams were such finished in December. And I had planned to go to Canada from there because I wanted to become a nuclear scientist.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Not a filmmaker,
No,
nuclear
never a
scientist.
filmmaker.
Okay.
I met a lady who is a scientist here right now.
Yes.
So I was just remembering my days. But it so happened the day we finished our exams and I was home, Chintu called me up and said, Dad is starting shooting the circus portions of
Mera
Mera
Naam
Joker.
Joker.
Yeah, we started tomorrow and it's at Bombay. There's a set put up. And you must come because all these Russian circus artists. I went there with Chintu and when I entered the big top, the first thing I noticed there was Raj uncle. I should call him Raj uncle
Raj.
because of
Of course,
his
friend's
childhood.
father.
And, the first thing I noticed him while working, I had never seen that kind of thing. He was a man who was single-handedly controlling 50, no, 5,000 people
Wow.
alone because there was about 4,000 were the crowd in the stands,
Okay.
hired crowd,
That's a big number.
huge number.
Big number.
And then the Russian circus artists, the Indian circus artists, and I was fascinated by seeing him work. And he was sure about what he's doing. That's what he knew exactly what he was more looking more like a conductor, music, someone like Zubin Mehta, standing and controlling a whole orchestra, and the man knew exactly what he's doing. So that got me, and I spent the whole day there at the circus without looking at the girls.
Without looking
Looking
at the girls. That's a
yeah.
big thing. You
That's
went for the girls
I went for
actually.
the girls, yeah. But and then the next day, without Chintu asking me anything, I went back again in the morning,
Okay.
and I sat in one corner. I didn't want to go inside and disturb him. And then this happened for a period of 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
I used to every morning sit in a corner and watch him work. And then I told Mom, I said, look, I've got 7 months before I go to Canada. So instead of just whiling my time away, I might as well work as an assistant for some time, get some more knowledge.
But behind this discussion was the girls or the Raj Sahab or what
No,
was it?
it was the girls,
It's the girls.
It was, although I now regretted that it should have been with the yeah. So I said, let me work as an assistant with him. And Dad was happy because they wanted me to become a filmmaker, but they were sure that I will not do it still.
Okay.
So Dad went and spoke to Ratha. And Ratha said, look, I've been seeing him over here every day for the last 5 days. I never met him those days.
Okay.
because I'm seeing him every day. And I thought he would want to come here.
Join you.
And now you come, he's most welcome to come. But remember one thing, is that he told me also that once you come in here, you're not going to go back. I promise you that. And well, I guess that was one of the things which ties prophecies which were there, because once I entered that
Movie
big
world.
top, I never looked back from there.
So did you go to Canada finally or no? You
I-
changed your
no,
decision
I changed my mind, and I went to Canada after years.
after years.
By the time I went to Canada, I had forgotten what
You had to go
nuclear
for the
physics
nuclear
meant.
physics. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was all about.
Okay.
So that's how it just came out.
Raj Kapoor is considered the greatest and most influential Bollywood actor and filmmaker. He has been referred as the greatest showman of Indian cinema and also Charlie Chaplin of Indian cinema. And you chose Raj Kapoor ji as a director you wanted to work with. Can you talk about some of the qualities which makes him stand apart in the industry? And how has working with him shaped your career?
Well, as far as my career goes, is whatever little I know about it, about how to go about this work, has all come from my experience with him. It's only come from that. And as a director, he. I don't think he'll ever be matched, because this is one man who had knowledge on the 360 degrees of filmmaking. You name it, whether it was cinematography or sound, he knew about everything.
So you rightly named him the master at work.
He was genuinely the master at work. And he had a great sense of music, and he had God's gift. He could see an instrument and start playing it, without knowing what the instrument was all about. And there were some quirks which I think all geniuses have quirks. He also had some quirks. For me, I was a 15-and-a-half-year-old who had stepped into becoming an assistant with Raj Kapoor, and
Which is a very young age actually.
yeah.
It's quite young to be deciding at 15.
Well, ma'am, one had to do something, so so then I went for a music sitting, where they were going to compose a song for Minam Joker. I mean, these are things which got me hooked on. And I went to the music room, that was in a studio called Famous Studios. And when I entered the room, there was Ratha, there was Mukeshji, there was Shankarji, Jaikishanji, Hasrat Jaipuri, Shailendra. Now, for me, that was a moment which I could never forget. Seeing these people. Though I had met them all separately, I had met them together also, but this was something else, because I was now in their place of work, where they were all here sitting to work. And I was just watching them, and then they started. And now, when a song is composed, always, the music director has some dummy words. It becomes easier to explain the tune.
Okay.
So he sings with dummy words. Like in my film, Love Story, that song, Dekho Maine Dekha Ek Sapna, which goes with my Ai Aja. My Ai Aja were dummy words which Pancham had used. So, they stayed with the film. So lots of songs, dummy words actually stay on. And when Jaikishan ji started singing a tune on a harmonium, I was totally confused. I mean, I said, what do I do? Do I jump out of this window? Or do I, pick up a knife and, commit harakiri? Because he was singing, and the words he used were the choicest galis. I've never heard words like this. I had never heard. Now, this is a mastero, and the others are all quiet. There's no reaction. And then they're discussing the thing, where one said कि नहीं जय वो जो बहन की वो अच्छा नहीं है, वो उसको तुम माँ की करके गा के सुनाओ. So so they were all contributing
So
this
that
way.
was their code language.
That was the language. And see, it came down to one thing which really impressed me, that these were people really interested in their work. That all the galis and all, they were completely aloof from them. It was the work they were doing.
So music is actually a crucial part of Raj Kapoor films. So how much of role does he play? He used to play in creation and composition of songs in the movies. Since you were talking about music, so I came to
I'll
the
tell
question.
you, I joined him in 68,
Mhm.
6, 7 December 68. And there were two songs which he had sung to me at that time. ऐसे ही
Okay.
गाड़ी में बैठ के
Mhm.
बोले थे ये गाने सुनो, दो मैंने बनाए हैं.
Mhm.
And his daughter used to play the piano very well, Ritu.
Okay.
So father and daughter Sundays used to be occupied.
Mhm.
She's on the piano and
Raj
he would
used to
sit there
sing.
and they would be making songs. And he sang in 68.
Okay.
One song was Jhoot Bole Kawa Kate,
Okay.
the entire song.
Hmm.
And the other song was Sun Sahiba Sun.
Hmm.
Now, there was no place for these songs to come.
Hmm.
Nobody knew they'll come. But he said, one day I will
Make a movie and use
and
them.
someday I'll find a place.
Hmm.
So, Jhoot Bole Kawa Kate,
Hmm. Used
now
in-
my mother was a Bengali.
Mhm.
So, when he used to meet my mother, he used to always say, you know, you're like Kali Mai. और तुमको काला कौवा काटेगा. This is a thing which he... And in Bobby we had Jhoot Bole Kawa Kate.
Yes. Hmm.
But while making Bobby, he came to my house one evening and it was about 3 o'clock, evening रात के 3 बजे.
How old were you when you were assisting him in Bobby?
In Bobby was what?
19, 20?
19.
19.
And he came home and I was woken up by mom. She said, Raj Sahab is outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I came out. Nobody was there. A neighbor of mine was there. So he said, Raj Kapoor was here. I said, what was he doing?
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, he had some kind of argument with his driver. And then they went away. In a minute, the driver came back with the car. Raj Sahab was not there.
Okay.
So I said, क्या हुआ? He said, साहब नाराज हो गए तो गाड़ी से उतर गए और बोले तुम जाओ यहाँ से.
Mm-hmm.
तो मैं वापस जाऊँगा. तो ऐसे कहाँ छोड़ा तुमने उनको?
Mm-hmm.
He said, मैं बस स्टॉप पे छोड़ा उनको. रात के 3 बजे.
Mm-hmm.
तो I said, ठीक है. I took my car out.
Mm-hmm.
I went round, came out to the lane. I stayed in the lane. And there's a bus stop there. And he was standing on the bus stop. So I told him, I said, yes, what are you doing here? He said, I'm waiting for a train. He said, you can't say I'm waiting for a bus. I'm at a bus stop waiting for a bus.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yes, sir, but buses don't come before 5:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'll wait till 5:30,
Okay.
but I will go back by bus.
Mm-hmm.
I said, come with me, the car.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drop you back. So he picked up a stone and started threw that stone on me.
Why?
I just drove away.
Mm.
I said, he's upset,
He's
I'll
angry.
find him. So I went round the corner, came back,
Mm.
and he was not there at the bus stop.
Okay.
So and I didn't know where he went. So I asked one guy there, and he said, हाँ एक आदमी खड़ा था बस स्टॉप पे, उसने पत्थर से मारा आपको.
Mm.
तो फिर मैं देखो एक टैक्सी में बैठ के सब गए.
Okay.
So that's the road to RK. So I went on that road, and I found him ahead.
Mm.
He was in a cab, sitting in front with the taxi driver and a friend of the taxi driver. At that time, taxi drivers were allowed to have a friend with them at night.
Okay.
So he was with the friend.
Mm-hmm.
He was sitting in between.
Mm-hmm.
Taxi driver one side, friend the other side. He had taken their muffler and tied it around his head. I was behind him. And I drove the car up to his side. And he was singing Sun Sahiba Sun
Okay.
to those guys. He was singing that song. Anyway, I said, I won't disturb him now since he's going to Chembur. We went home. We got off there. I told the cab drivers, I said, how much money is it? And they said, पैसों का सवाल ही नहीं है. राज कपूर हमारी टैक्सी में बैठा है और राज कपूर ने गाना
That's a
सुना हमको.
privilege.
तो ऐसे गाना क्या सुनाया तुमको? बोले गाना सुनाया तो उनको भी नहीं पता कौन सी पिक्चर, लेकिन राज कपूर ने सुनाया. That is the big thing. Next morning, He called me at 10:30 in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and said, come over, I need to talk to you about something. So I went to the house and he said, did I come to your house last night?
Okay.
So I said, sir, you knew you came.
Mm.
Would not forget anything.
Okay.
I said, you know you came, so
Mm.
why are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I believe you followed that taxi here, the watchman told me. I said, yes, I did. He said, did you come near the taxi to see what was happening inside?
Mm.
I said, yes, sir, I came. And he was singing to those. And then he asked me this. He said, what was the reaction to the song? Now, his connection was only
Okay.
did they like the song or not like
He
the
was
song.
checking on
He was
his
just checking on that.
creation.
That
Okay.
was his
Wow.
kind of way his mind worked.
Mm.
And that's what brought about inspiration.
Amazing. Okay. Could you tell us something about the process of how you went about writing this book? Does it really have, I mean, based on your memory itself, or how was the journey of writing the book? How long did it take? And what motivated you to begin writing this book?
What motivated me was that at one of the film festivals where I was on the jury,
Okay.
there was another film writer on the jury called Apurva Asani who wrote Shahid and these films. And at the end of those sessions after 6 days, he said, because I used to talk about Ratab all the time, but it's all from memory. So he said, why don't you write a book on Raj Kapoor? It was
Okay.
fascinating hearing this.
Hmm.
And I said, who's going to help me structure it? No, there's another right. He said, I'll do it.
Hmm.
So finally I spoke to Chintu. I said, somebody suggested I should do this.
Hmm.
So he said, yeah, do it. It'll be very interesting because the amount you know about Dad,
Hmm.
nobody else knows. So do it. So I thought before I write the book, I would first meet Dabu Saab, Randir Kapoor.
Hmm.
I'd talk to his daughters and I'd meet Krishna auntie also.
Hmm.
Because I didn't want to do something without them being okay.
Their consent and
Yeah.
everything.
And when I spoke to them, they said, we are fine. You can write whatever you want to.
So, was there a
So,
lot of inputs from the family also
no,
while writing the
no.
book? No.
There was only
It,
one man. There was his closest associate was a man whom we all called Mamaji.
okay.
Mamaji just passed away last year. Mamaji was 93.
Who was he?
Mamaji was his mama,
Okay.
but not real mama. वो ना रिश्ते में रिश्ते पंजाबी में होते हैं.
Okay.
तो मामा जी थे तो मामा जी was with him from the time he became an actor.
Oh.
So Mama ji lived through the making of the studio. So Mama ji, though it was very difficult to converse with Mama ji, he was 93
Hmm.
and he was bent over age. So I sat with him and he told me lots of things about the studio.
Okay.
But about the book, when I went to Krishna auntie finally, and I said, Krishna auntie, I'm thinking of writing this book. And she said, Rahul, you must, because you are the only living person who knows how my husband worked. And if you don't write that, his way of working, those lessons will be lost for life. They can only be brought to people's memories if you do it. And you must do it. Now, that is what finally got me to doing it. And it took me 3 years
3 years.
to do
Yeah.
it. Because first it was all from memory.
Hmm.
And secondly, time used to happen, then I used to forget it, kaun karega. And then the pandemic came in.
Okay.
So we got locked up in the houses.
Hmm.
And there was a young girl called Panika Sharma. She got a
Sharma.
credit on this.
Yeah.
I had narrated this whole thing from memory.
Mm-hmm.
It was narrated completely.
Okay.
And that was transcribed
By
by another chap, another young boy.
Okay.
But when it came to writing with me, that boy said, no, I don't agree with the way you're
Mm-hmm.
wanting it written.
Okay.
So I said, fine. Then we found this girl,
Mm-hmm.
Pranika, a young girl, very brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So she was very keen to do it. And so over the pandemic, that 1.5 months where we were locked down completely, we were on Zoom and talking about the book all the time.
Okay.
That's how the whole thing came out.
So you actually know the whole family, the Kapoor family. So how do you think Raj Kapoor is different from other people? I mean, everybody is actor and everybody is good in their own way. So what is it different about Raj Kapoor? What other people don't have, or what do you think about him?
I don't think anybody has the the quality of mind which Raj Kapoor had. I don't think there's anybody in the family whom I could say is as intelligent as him. And I don't think there's anybody in the family who is as quirky as him also. Right? He did not have a sense of humor at all.
He did not.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was terrifying being on the sets with him. You never know what it's like. Yeah. The sense of humor came from his wife.
Okay.
He had a great sense of humor, and then that went on to Dabu. But Ratham himself had no sense of humor. I mean, he'd make things funny, but they were not meant to be funny. Then you could find a way to. He had funny quirks. He had a huge penchant for eating. Food was.
But I think all Punjabis, and especially Kapoor family, is
all
known
and-
for their love
all
for food.
Punjabis, and he's doing strange things. Like I've seen him in an editing room. He took a piece of pav, was the bread we eat in Bombay, and he split it in half and put makhan on it, and then took a jalebi and put it in that and put the pav and started eating that. So I told him, I said, sir, why are you eating this? He said, why can't I? He said, कहीं पर लिखा है कि जलेबी नहीं खा सकते पाव के साथ. I said, नहीं लिखा नहीं है. He said, देखो, improvise it a little bit. So he took it, he dipped it in tomato ketchup, and then he ate that. And then he'd eat that every day. Because he was, about food, he was crazy.
He was a foodie.
Sandwiches,
I think when so much of mind people use, they need to eat also. And he used to use his mind all the time, as you
mind
said.
was working all the time. And if you go with him for sandwiches, it was a strange habit he had. Any place he'd go with his sandwiches around, and there'd be people there. He'd find an excuse for those people to leave from there for some time. And then he'd pick up those sandwiches, eat the inside, and put the bread back and put them back as though sandwiches had been touched. So this was. And he had elephant's memory. Elephant's memory.
Elephant's memory.
Yeah. And as a filmmaker, the kind of 360-degree knowledge which he had was very rare. Even now, I don't see that kind of thing. When I joined him, we had a ritual in RK. We had a telephone operator called Dambara, or not telephone, the projection operator. And once in a month and a half, Ratha would never drink when he's working. At night, he'd call for a bottle of whiskey in the editing room, in the theatre. And we knew that now this would be what we called Dambara night.
Okay.
And in Dambara night, he would sit there, and Dambara, the operator, had collected all his best films, which he thought was best work, and turned that into a reel. So when you go there, that reel would. For me, that was a great amount of learning because I got to see this
A lot of
myself,
his work.
and he was very sharp. The first time when I was standing in a corner, I was watching these things in awe. I never seen this kind of thing. So he turned on to me and said, "You have some questions to ask me?" I said, "No, no." So he said, "Listen, remember one thing. If you will not ask me a question, I will not answer it, and then you will never find the answer. So you want to learn things, always remember in life. Ask
More questions.
So I would ask him questions all the time. So in Damara nights, I would ask him like the dream sequence of Avara.
Okay.
What the greatest dream sequence one could ever imagine. Of why he did those things, and he would go on and on and on with his talking about his work. And Damara ji, the operator, when he would get tired, 4 or 5 in the morning, he would play the song from Jagte Raho,
Okay.
Jago Mohan Pyare, Jago. And then Rata would stand up and say, Ab damara chata main ghar jaun. So that's how it went, and those were wonderful sessions.
You started very early at age of 15 or 16. So was there any aspect of cinema that made you uncomfortable at that time?
No, I don't think there was any aspect as such because no, I think I enjoyed everything about cinema because I was also learning on why it's done. There were lots of places where I wanted questions as to how things are done, why was it done, and here was a man ready to answer.
Ready to answer.
Absolutely, he'd go out of his way to answer.
So you were very comfortable at that age as well.
I was very, very comfortable, and we had a very good bond. I mean, that was a great thing for me, and he helped me. After I branched out on making a film myself, and he was a great influence.
So you have taken suggestions from him while you were doing the films independently?
In fact, I was talking to some ladies about Love Story.
Yeah.
Love Story is the only film in the world
Yeah, I read about it.
which
Could you
does not
tell
carry a
that to
director's name.
Yes. Why so?
It's the only film. There's no name of a director over there.
But you directed it.
I directed it.
So why was it having no name of the director?
See, again, at that time, Rajendra Kumar's son,
Kumar Gaurav.
was engaged to Rajendra's son, to Raj's daughter,
Okay.
to Rima. And so it was one family, they were very good friends. But when I decided to make Love Story, Raja called me and said, I'm telling you something incomplete. This you not speak out of here because it'll be a problem in the family. Are you sure you want to make a picture for Rajendra Kumar?
Okay.
I said, any problem? He said, you will have a very big problem. Because I know him very, very well. And he's an extremely complex person. He will have major problems. So, and that's what happened.
Okay.
Right through, I would have problems and I would keep going to Raja. And I'd say, this is what he's saying. He said, look, this is nothing now ahead. This and everything he told me happened to the T.
So he was predicting the
He was
things would
predicting
happen
things.
to you.
Yeah, this was going to happen next. This was going to happen next to the absolute T. And then when the film got complete, he called me and he said, some people saw the film last night. It's complete. And they loved it. I was very happy because they liked the director's work very much. But Rajendra Kumar is not very happy with it. Because we say, why are people only talking about the director? I'm the producer, I have a huge contribution. So I said, sir, that's something I can't help. He said, I'm just telling you, he will try and find a way to get your name out of the picture.
Oh.
He'll want his name to be there as the director. Now this happened 6 months before the release. The film got complete, absolutely. And then Rajendra Kumar told me that, look, Trishul, the picture है, उसमें संजीव कुमार और वहीदा रहमान का गाना है, तो लव स्टोरी में गाना डालते हैं मेरा और विद्या सिन्हा का, तो ऐसे पिक्चर कौन देखेगा? I mean, who will be interested in seeing you sing the song with Vidya Sinha? Nobody is going to watch it. And he said, no, it has to be. It got into this kind of an argument. And finally I said, listen, if you're going to do it, I'm not going to be involved in that. I'll take my name out of the film. So he said, he jumped up. He said, fine.
Okay. He was happy for it.
Absolutely fine. Shall I make the letter? I said, make it. So I went to Raja at night. I said, this is what happened. So he said, I told you this will happen now. And, but I told him, make the letter. And he said, are you sure you're going to do this? I said, yeah, I'm sure. He said, I'm very proud of you. It's a very difficult thing to make a film and take it off. But do one thing, make sure that he does not give his name.
Okay.
I don't know how you'll do that. So next day I spoke to a friend who's a lawyer, and I went to the court, to the High Court, and the judge gave an order saying that if he doesn't give the name, if the directors want his name, that's fine. But you cannot give anybody else's name.
So the movie had no director, but actually you directed it.
And they said because all the affidavits we've got from all the actors and from technicians, they have all said one thing, is that Rahul Rawail has directed the film. So if he doesn't want his name, that's his problem. But you can't give anybody else a name. So that stopped him from doing that.
Otherwise, all your work would
Otherwise,
have...
yeah, he would have. And the industry is such, that being a new person at that time also, they kept saying, "Arey, nahi, nahi, picture zindagi ko aane banayi hogi." What does this one little kid know? And this is the way it went till Dharmanji called me home and said, I saw Love Story and I need to get a film made for Sunny. And I know Rindan Kaur very well. He cannot make this kind of film. It has to be somebody else. And I think the only somebody else must be you. So direct Sunny's film for me.
So Betab.
Yeah, so that's how Betab came out.
Betab was also another lovely love story of that time.
Yes.
So there is a chapter in the book where you say that the Raj Kapoor or Raj uncle became Raj Sahab. Can you elaborate on that?
Okay. I came to a stage where I decided that when I met him, I said I'd work with him for 3 months. Then I said, why 3 months? I might as well work till June, July. So I made up my mind and I went to meet him at his studio. And मेरे मुंह से निकल गया था, for the first time. I told John, his attendant, I said, रात साहब को बोलना कि Rahul मिलना है. So he called me inside and when he was talking to me, and I had a pet name. All Punjabis have pet names which are embarrassing.
Yeah.
But you've got to live with them, you can't help it. So, I had a pet name called Babu.
Okay.
So which he used to call me. And when I spoke to him, and he said, yeah, Rahul, it's fine. So when I came out, I realized that was the first time that I called him Raj, and he called me Rahul. So I think, it's a time when this professional relationship
no
changes.
Uncle and no...
And that's from where even Chintu started calling him Saab.
Okay.
Because Chintu said in his book, he said because Rahul was, calling him Saab all the time. So even I started calling him Saab. So that's how it all went.
That's lovely. So there are many books on Raj Kapoor. I think one written by his own daughter as well. So how is your book different from other books? I mean, audience hasn't yet read the book.
The other books have they only speak about Raj Kapoor as our showman, his parties, his being larger than life. Nobody speaks about his work. Nobody speaks about his work
in depth about his work, yeah.
The way I've managed to speak about it. I think that's it.
There are some people in the audience whose kids might want to venture into film world. Do you have any suggestions for youngsters who want to become or aspire to become filmmakers?
Well, I know there's lots of women also who are today filmmakers and very, very good filmmakers. And I see some young girls here. And my one advice to everybody whom I speak to on filmmaking is the first thing is don't get married. If you're going to become a filmmaker, don't get married. I have a reason for it.
Okay.
If you're not married, you have no responsibilities. Like I took my name off Love Story without even thinking about it.
Nobody to answer to.
Had it been with a wife, then you think about it so that. But I think the main thing is dedication and believe in what you're doing. That I think is the most important thing. and watch as many films as you can. I watch a film every night, even now.
Till date. Oh wow.
Even now, every night I watch a film. It may be Tamil, maybe Telugu, maybe French, German, Russian, anything. But it's just seeing a film every day.
So, if you have any questions from audience, we can take few questions.
Thank you very much. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry that.
The whole India, every citizen of India is proud of the two Oscars which you got recently. And what is your opinion on that? What's the difference between the movies that are being taken now and your time?
See, it's a very big thing to win an Oscar. Why Oscar? To win any award in any foreign country, it really says a lot for your work because that happens. And though we won Oscars before, people from India have, like Bhanu Athaiya had got an Oscar for Gandhi, and Rahman got an Oscar for the Jai Ho. But these were all, they were Indian people. But the films were not Indian films. They were made by others, right? RRR is the first Indian film.
And that too then.
That too Telugu film, yeah. Because, no, actually the thing is that I don't know why for so many years we've only considered Hindi to be Indian television, film. It's wrong because the kind of films I see, or I've been seeing over the years, there are films in languages like Lakshadweep is a small island. It has a worldwide population of only 54,000. And I have seen a film made in Lakshadweep in their local language. And,
Didn't even know that.
and yeah, and it was a brilliant film. It was given one of the national awards also.
I think India is full of creative people.
Oh,
So
tremendous,
it's not only Bombay or Bollywood. It can be every
tremendous,
state.
tremendous, tremendous. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I loved Bahubali, and I was waiting for that answer to that question. कि कटप्पा ने क्यों मारा था? Even I was waiting for that, and
Whole world was waiting for that.
and I loved RRR also. No, I loved the way Rajamouli made his other films earlier. He made one on the mosquito. He had made one. Yeah, Iga, and he's very innovative. He thinks out of the box, and he thinks with a lot of conviction. That's where the difference comes. And he's lucky to have a father who's such a talented writer. Yeah. The whole family is there. Yeah.
On that, sir, here, good evening.
Yeah, sorry.
On the same thing, see, nowadays we are making a hue and cry about nepotism, but you worked with all the sons of all the heroes, and being with such big family. What was your take on that then in those days?
Love Story was made by Ranjan Kumar for his son. And so that's the reason why he was
Sunny
taken.
Deol also, that means.
Sunny Deol was made again by his father for his son. And I had just got out of the Love Story fiasco. So at that time, I don't know whether I liked him or not, I had to make the film. So because I had no alternate. But it was a good thing I did. And as far as Kajal was not selected because she was
Tanuja's daughter.
Tanuja's daughter. No. I had gone to an audition where Kajal's cousin, Tanu's brother's daughter, was auditioning. And I saw Kajal then. She had come with a cousin. And I saw her, the way she was talking and all that. And that's when I decided to take her in the film.
Were you influenced by Raj Kapoor saab for being so romantic and making only love stories?
Not I've not made only love stories. I made this also. I made Dakayat. I made Arjun. I made Anjan. And thank God somebody found me romantic. Even my wife doesn't find me romantic. So at least somebody. Yeah, I started. No, actually, I started with the third one. I made a film called Gunagar. I was just out of working with RK, and then my friend became a big star, that was Rishi Kapoor, and so I decided to make a film, and very few people in the world saw the film, and it just lost a lot of money. But anyway, see Bobby, because Bobby was that one film where I learned a lot in that film. See, what happened was after the debacle of Miran Joker, everybody started leaving him. It's the way it is. Nobody wants to stay with a sinking ship. And he had three other assistants. There was one assistant who had joined him in Barsat, and he was still there. So he was not considered. But the other assistants, by the time we came to Bobby's shooting starting, he did not have any other assistant. They had all left. So I was the only one left there. So I had taken on the responsibility of all these systems. And then our production manager, I mean, he also passed away. So I took on that responsibility also. So I had taken on this responsibility of these three major things. Great experience, great experience. Because I was in that film from the time of inception, from the time he got that story idea till the time it released. And I saw him through the whole thing, and that helped me a lot. It was the first time that a teenage love story was being made. In fact, when after Joker, when he decided to make Bobby, and he called his whole staff over and he said, I'm making a film with a newborn and new girl. I'm making a teenage love story. So our financial controller there, Mr. Raman, he said, why should you make a film with a newborn and new girl? All the actors are coming to you every day. Every actor used to come to him. Sympathy. I'll do your next film, I'll do your next film. So he said, why don't you make it with Dharminder and Hema Malini? He said, I can't make a teenage love story with Dharminder and Hema Malini. I will take teenagers for it. So he was very adamant on that. And it came about, and I think it created records when it released.
Last question. Who is your favorite director in this generation?
Oh, now you get me into trouble by naming. It's not a question of. I don't think it's one or two or three. I don't think there's a number. There are various directors who are very, very good. There are equal number who are successful but are very bad. So, no, I like the work of. Why do you want to get me into trouble? Amrita, because we were looking for a girl for Sunny, and that character, what she played in the film, somebody suggested her. There was a director called Ramesh Bell. Ramesh Bellji told me that I met Ruxana's daughter, and she's got a lot of life in her. She's very lively. So I went and met her, and she did have a lot of life. She fitted my character exactly what it was. So that's how we decided to go. The culture, I think, in the behavior of human beings at that time, which is missing now completely is that there is no respect for the elders, which I find to be a terrible thing. We all were brought up with this that the elders you got to pay, you got to be respectful to them because you learn a lot from. I mean, you learn only from people who've been through it. It's not from other people. Today, the problem with filmmaking is that everybody feels I know how to make films. I'm a director. If, you find every alternate person claiming to be an actor. I get hundreds of boys and girls who come to meet me. The boys will come to me and say, "Sir, please get me a role in the film. I dance very well. I go to the gym every day. I drive a motorbike. You never told me that you act. You never told me that you know how to act. Described other things to me. When are you going to tell me, or even girls? Girls come with the most obnoxious photographs. And they are shocked when I tell them, say, please get your photograph done again. Because I don't want to see you almost in stark naked clothes. I want to see your face. That's all. So they don't believe this. And then with the cameras coming onto the phones, everybody's got a camera. So everybody is just shooting auditions and sending auditions across to you. And it's very easy for anybody to make a film because there's no investment. You have a camera at home. Every human being in this country must be having a cousin or a brother or a chachi's son or chacha's son who wants to become an actor. Somebody else wants to become an actress. Then a writer must be there. There must be a music director. So he can get together, they can make a film and put it onto YouTube. So he doesn't have to be trained for it. I think that whole culture has needs to be changed, or if it's not going to change, then we've got to find a way to accept it.
Sir, with so much of parallel cinema and, like we said, regional cinema coming to the fore, it has already existed for a long time, but now we see because of social media that it's getting more accepted and it's coming out. So, where do you see the future of the Indian cinema going? Is there going to be a culmination of, all the regional cinema coming together, or are we looking at, Bollywood competing with Telugu films and with Bengali films competing with some Malayali films?
See, ideally, they should not be competing.
Absolutely.
They're ideally because they're all Indian films. But ideal conditions and ideal minds really don't exist. People, I've heard people say कि अरे उसकी बात मत करो यार वो तो Tamil picture है. It doesn't matter. It's a
Yeah.
movie. I mean, you talk about, we've got a great complex of Hollywood, of the American cinema. A friend of mine told me recently, he said it's a great thing RRR and Elephant Whisperer won the awards. It's for going to any other country and winning an award. But what is so essential about the Oscars? He said the Oscars is nothing but a Filmfare Award function being held in Los Angeles. It is an American. It's for the American audience. It's nothing. I can understand that a film gets an award in Cannes, or it gets one in Karlovy, or at Toronto. That is a different league completely. In which film industry? No, only the American. Alfred Hitchcock, who's one of the greatest directors we've ever had, never won a single Oscar. Because the Oscar also, man, the way the Oscar voting is done, it's as corrupt as awards all over the world. It's not clean at all.
what would you like to change, if at all you were to go back in your own experience, in your own films, if there was something that you feel that this is what I should have done differently?
I think I feel that in every film I made. The moment I see it again, I feel this went wrong and this was wrong. And why did people like it? And even now when I see my films, I still feel, oh, I should have changed this, I should have changed that. And I guess most filmmakers must be going through the same thing.
Thank you.
Sir, according to you, which is the best directed film by you and why?
Which one?
Best directed film,
My
yours,
own?
and why?
I would say it's Dakat. To
So why?
me, Dakat is that one film which was the closest to my heart because it went into a new world of dacoits. It actually portrayed the dacoits the way they actually are, which went wrong. The film didn't do well because of that. Because we were used to Daku matlab pakadi bandha hua or tika laga hua, and they're not that. And this dwelled into the lives of dacoits and also the human problems which they had and how it. So for me that was, and it was a very tough location to shoot on because we were shooting right in the middle of the dacoit infested area, and at that time the dacoits were in full.
Any threats you faced?
Threats in the sense, yes, there were threats to not only me, to even the other unit guys. There were threats, and we had to be very careful with, because we were staying also in Bend. So we had to be very careful that nobody just went out for a walk or to have a pan or something. So we had a cop going with everybody. We had 300 cops with us around the clock. So anybody who went in a car or went walking had two cops with them all the time.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
It's difficult because you're talking about two completely two of the greatest films ever made and completely different genres. But I was no, 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 no. I was not. But the thing I'd probably say that Sholay and Dilwale. Yeah, I know it's called Betab Valley. They've got a big this thing called Betab Valley there. Yeah. In fact, I went to Srinagar last year, and I'd gone for a literary festival, and then somebody contacted me and says a theatre is opening in Shopian. Shopian is in the middle of the terrorist activities. It's at the center. They said, "Will you come with us for the opening?" I said, "Yes, I will." And though I was very scared to go there because you never know. But went there was tremendous police escort and all that. And then I was asked to come to Pahalgam to go to Betab Valley. Something came up and I really couldn't go. But I'd love to go back one day and see the place now. No, the place was always there. It was just, it became popular because of film.
Any more questions?
There's one small incident I must to make it on a lighter note on Rajsa. One night we were coming back from town and he told the driver, he said, Raman Saab kar pilo. Raman Saab was the financial controller who had passed away. So we had a son called Babu, and Babu had become a distributor, and he had got Bobby to release. Rath Sahib gave it to me and Chalo. And Ramu never gave any money from the profits of that film. So Raat ko he was a little high. So he said, इनका कर ले लो. So we went there, and it was dead of night in a lane in Matunga. Nobody there. Car came in and stopped outside Raman Saab's house, and Raat Saab got down and started screaming, Ramu, Ramu, alone. And then, as the screams went higher, lights started coming on. People started hearing him. People started coming down the road. And I was there. I was hearing people saying, Raj Kapoor, Raj Kapoor. And then Ramu came down. Ramu came in a typical South Indian. He was wearing a lungi, which was half folded up to his waist, and he had no shirt, no kurta, and he had this tilak, that big, huge tilak, and he said, yes, sir. So Rath Sahib said, मेरे प्रॉफिट कहाँ है बॉबी के? तो he said, वो मेरे पास है. He said, तुम्हारे पास क्यों है? मेरा प्रॉफिट है, मेरे पास होना चाहिए. तो he said, मैं दे दूंगा आपको. He said, कभी दोगे ये बताओ. तो he said, मैं बताता हूँ आपको, इसलिए मुझे अभी बताओ कब दोगे. तो Raman, up at this time about 40-50 people had collected. तो Ramu said, मैं आपको कल सुबह स्टूडियो में आके दे दूंगा. So Rath Sahib just looked at him, and in a flash of a moment, he just pulled his lungi off and left Ramu standing stark naked on the street of his house. And he told him कि कल पैसे दे के जाओ और लुंगी लेके जाओ, sat in the car and went away. And poor Ramu, this was he was very, 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 very eccentric in these things. Sorry, ma'am.
Any more experiences you
I've
want
got
to
lots of
share with me?
But every time I go for the Prabhakatan events, I always see that one card. I saw it when I entered over here, I think 10 minutes. I see it everywhere.
So it was indeed a pleasure for all of us, sir. We enjoyed the conversations between Rahul ji and Mansi ji. It took us back to your days in RK Studios, your association with the iconic producer Raj Kapoor Saab, and his amazing cinematic journey as director of Bollywood videos. On behalf of Prabha Kaitan Foundation, I, Maria Boda, SR's Women of Hyderabad, take the privilege to thank Rahul ji and Mansi ji for the session. I also extend my gratitude to patron Shri Cement Limited, venue and hospitality partner ITC Kohinoor, and the amazing audience of Hyderabad. I would like to invite Neena ji, who is an entrepreneur, educationist, and philanthropist, very well-known personality in the city of Hyderabad who loves to meet and help people. She's also an honorary citizen of Texas and runs Anshul Memorial Scholarship for Indian students in University of Texas, which will continue till the time university exists. We request her to come forward and felicitate Rahul ji with a Madhubani shawl. Thank you so much.